we do not have curiosity to actually ask people why it is that they think the way they do.
This is Layla. She's a street musician, a former vegan, and someone who beat rheumatoid arthritis by going full carnivore.
But carnivore is the only thing that has helped me keep my inflammation down.
You can find her on Instagram at The Dirty Carnivora, where she shares raw, unfiltered takes on health, food, and pushing back against the mainstream narrative.
Veganism is just not healthy long term.
In this episode, we talk about what it means to go against the grain, whether it's with your food, your beliefs, or how you show up in the world. We get into controversial territory, health, politics, food freedom, censorship, and the systems that keep people weak and dependent.
Put all of my money into what I thought was the future, which was Bitcoin.
This is episode 1 of the Bro Bytes Podcast, and we're not here to play nice. Let's get into it.
So I guess we're back with the podcast. We're rolling with Layla here and Frank as I'd say kind of hosts here, but we're really just having a conversation. We're restarting the podcast. We've taken a break for a while.
A little hiatus.
Yeah, and I've been living in Bali for the past 4 months, and Layla just got here a few days ago.
5 days ago?
Yeah. And we're kind of restarting this, and we're going to I guess post this on Bro Bytes, which was a faceless Instagram that I had, and now I'm going to show my face. It's basically all about
the red-pilled.
No, it's like, kind of escaping the matrix and talking about money and financial freedom and freedom in general, and I guess healthy living as well, and escaping the lies that they tell you about everything, I guess, and just opening up that conversation. And I hope to be talking with more people that are living here in Bali and having some interviews. But we're going to start with Layla here. She'll probably be joining us as, we'll have the both of us interviewing some people here, and we'll talk about multiple topics. But right now we're just going to have a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Frank in
4 months.
4 months? Yeah. Something like that.
So you just got to Bali. I've been here for 4 months. We can get into I guess what I think of this place. But maybe you can tell me your first reactions. You just got here. What do you think of it?
I really like it here. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of Brazil. It does.
There we go.
And I told Frank that everywhere outside of North America is a lot kinder than America. I even think, even with Canada itself, people say it's like the kindest place. They're like, oh, they have such.
I think they're nice.
Nice, but I still don't think there's anything like that kind of community, and that even Bali has, that Brazil has, that a lot of different countries have. And there is warmth here, and I think that's why a lot of people come here as well, because they feel welcomed immediately. The inner circle is, you're in the inner circle immediately. You don't have to be earned in. As for other places in North America, it's usually you're either forever on the outside.
Yeah, it's there. Everyone is another.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here it's too
many clicks. Too many.
Well, you know what I liked about here is almost everyone that you see just smiles at you. And I guess you get that in other places, but here it just feels a little special. I don't know. Just puts you in a good mood. I like, as you like to call me, Mr. Grumps, but Am I as Mr. Grumps here? Would you say?
No, I think you're less grumpy here. Way less.
Yeah.
I think I have a theory that Frank was Asian in a past life because he just loves Asia in general so much, and it's quite interesting.
But again,
the
this is like-
connection that you have.
This doesn't feel like Asia to me. I mean, it's just this tropical place. It's all the plants. Being a plant dad, there's so much plants everywhere that kind of, as I'm driving my motorbike, I just smile everywhere I'm going. And just looking at all the plants, the tropical plants.
All the foliage.
Yeah. But,
So
and-
speaking of of all of that,
yeah.
you got some plants out here.
Yeah.
So Frank decorated his place. Is that what is it? It's like a villa, right? Kind of.
Yeah, so I'm staying in a guest house. It's just like 10, I guess, rooms surrounding a pool, and then a common area and a common kitchen. And I've since I've been there for 4 months now, even a month or two in, I kind of made mine into my little home. Got my own little fridge for my place, but.
The luxurious Leo made it a safe sanctuary with a bunch of plants and shelves. And
I put plants around the outside door, because I couldn't help myself, and got myself. There was one plant I was looking for. I saw it around, and I was like, "Holy crap! I need that plant. I need to find it." It's the heart of Jesus. It's a good plant. It's very pretty. It's like purpley. Looks like a heart. But yeah, found that. Got it in my plants. So happy about that.
was that the one? That other one?
Yeah, the purple one.
That one that you like?
Yeah, it's the heart of Jesus.
The one that the lady gave you?
Yeah. So
That's a good example of the community aspect, right?
we
that's
went
good.
to
Korean
a
barbecue.
Korean barbecue place. What's it called? Han Song.
Shout out.
Yeah, here's because this is like not too many people come here, but it's like a hidden little gem, I guess. But Korean barbecue. Why is it not showing up on here?
So while
It's
he finds that,
Han Song, HANSANG, Han Song. But it was 115,000 per person, and it's that's like $7, less than
Yeah.
$7 per person, all you can eat. And we're leaving the place, and I saw that plant growing outside, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is my favorite plant ever!" And the woman was like, "Here, let me give you something. Take
she
it."
like
And
dug it out.
she dug it out and put it in like a little bag for me, and I planted it in my I guess my little garden outside. But yeah,
So while I'm in Bali, I'm gonna be recording some content, like day in the life / carnivore content, and Frank is going to be a part of it. So if you guys are interested in seeing the affordable places and stuff that we go to eat at, you guys can see that.
That kind of gets me into the thing I was about to say.
So that's great.
Yeah, where I was going to say that here in Bali, what I really like is the healthy lifestyle, and being myself animal-based. She's straight carnivore, which we can talk about that a little later, why she's a straight carnivore for her own health reasons. I was a little bit afraid that I wouldn't be able to find certain foods here. And, it's very health conscious here, but it's specifically a lot more geared towards like vegans or vegetarians, because people think that's healthy for some reason. But
Hot take.
it's not. It's not healthy. Long term, it's not healthy. It's briefly, being vegan is healthy at first because you're cutting out all kinds of other things.
Exactly.
You could fast for 30 days and that's healthy for you, but do that for 3 months and you're dead.
Yeah.
So veganism is just not healthy long term. You just have to eat so much more food to get the nutrients, and
You only absorb 5 to 30% of plant matter. Fun fact.
Yeah.
And then the rest goes into the large intestine and out in the toilet.
But anyway, I was afraid that we wouldn't be able to find more animal-based or carnivore-ish type stuff, and at first I didn't. Like it was tough, and you could get some steak. Local steak is terrible. You got to import it. They have the imported steak, and that's much more expensive. So trying to live cheaply here was kind of difficult, I thought. Until I found this place called Open House Cafe and Open House Kitchen.
Shout out.
Another shout out. They're great. You can just order a la carte items. You can get steak, you can get beef patties, you can get just scrambled eggs or whatever. But you can also get vegetables too, and different things. But it's easy to get by pieces, and I'll just order a bunch of things and then box it up into different meal prep stuff for lunch. It's been great. But you find other things too. I get a poke bowl here cheaply, $5 or $6, and other things like that.
Yeah, we went to the fish market the other day. That was fun.
Yeah. But I forgot to bring cash, and we had to be a little.
So if you ever go to the fish market, make sure
you
you got
bring
some cash with you.
But yeah, that kind of also the reason I'm here in Bali is specifically to save money. I've been in LA for the past 7 years or so, and needed a change. I was spending a lot of money in LA.
Getting grumpier,
Yep.
getting more irritated.
Yep. And I've been planning to come out here for a while. And
It was his dream, guys. It was his big dream to come out here.
it was my dream to get out of LA.
No, it was his dream to come here.
Yeah, but
all he talked about.
But the thing is, in LA, I'm spending $3,000 a month living like a prisoner, not going outside, not eating out, never leaving my apartment, eating everything at home. Out here I can spend $1,500 a month and live like a king. Go out for dinner most nights. Have a massage every Sunday. Have a drink whenever I want. Not really question, whether or not I can afford it. Although I do try to conserve a little bit.
I call him Frugal Frank. So this place is great for him.
And now I'm feeding 2 people, so do have to conserve a little bit. But
so let's get into money topics, okay?
Yeah.
So let's get into that a little bit. Why don't you talk a little bit about the whole how you're living out here, and also crypto.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Let's get into
that is
that.
how
Literally,
I'm living out here. So some of you might not know that I worked in the film industry for a long time, and the film industry seems to be dying.
He's famous. Google him.
I'm not that famous. You can Google me. I do come up, but it's not yeah. Hopefully this gets more fame. But yeah. So I was in the film industry. The film industry, I feel like, is dying. You had COVID. You had the strikes, the writer's strike, the actor's strike, and and woke Hollywood just throwing money at dumb crap that nobody wants to watch anymore, and they just keep dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into movies that are just trying to push an agenda that nobody really wants to see anymore, and it's just dying for now, and there's no money for indie film, and so
That's depressing.
yeah. So I felt like I had done pretty well at a certain point a few years back and put all of my money into what I thought was the future, which was Bitcoin. It was a way to, I felt, have financial freedom, but also have freedom from everything, taking my money out of the system. Far from the reach of anyone, really. I control my money now, and it's paid off. I've done pretty well with my money, and I want to conserve what little money I do have. It's not like a ton. I'm not like super rich. Couldn't live in LA, but I can live here, hopefully indefinitely, if I play it right. And also, I was worried about, can I use Bitcoin out here? And yes and no. You can use it in roundabout ways. There's ways to be able to use it. I don't know if I should get totally into how to use it or what you can do. I mean, there's multiple ways.
I think that we're, like, in future episodes, we'll definitely discuss that, especially if we have other people that are more crypto related.
Yeah, so I did find a group here. There's the Bitcoin House, which is kind of like a hotel cafe type thing, or it's like a hotel with a cafe in it, but there's an actual, I should take you to go see it, but it's...
So what you're telling me is if you want to find a crypto daddy, you should just go there.
Maybe. I don't know that... The thing is, it's more about education here, and that's what the Bitcoin House is. They hold events and educate the locals on how they can incorporate Bitcoin in their business and whatnot. And I went to a couple events, met some of the people who run it, and and they're cool people. I'd probably try to get them on here in future episodes, so we can talk to them about how you can use Bitcoin in Bali. I've figured out some ways. I'm sure they'll have some.
How about you tell them the ways that you can't? Like any complications that you've had recently.
Yeah, there. Do you have something in mind?
Yeah.
What?
With Coinbase.
Okay. Elaborate.
Yeah, like there's some things that like if you got to be careful with, that they'll freeze.
So, but I was using the Coinbase card, which is kind of like a Visa card, and you use it just like you would a regular Visa card. And so, as you do here, you do the tap your card to pay on many establishments that take credit cards. And Coinbase just basically, liquidates whatever you spent and pays the card. So it's just used like that. However, there are some, restrictions there. I'm not sure. I wouldn't know the whole list, but there was one. You can't use it at a massage parlor. And when we went to go get a massage, actually, it was before that. The same place.
You wonder why.
Well, there were a few things that were like, well, we don't want you to use it for
shady reasons.
Shady reasons, I guess. If you're using it in the States, there are massage parlors that are shady. Here, that's not so much.
Yeah.
I have not run into any massage parlors that are doing
hanky panky.
any shady business, but
But yes,
but yeah,
let's
we'll
get
into
into some political stuff.
All right,
Let's,
we have a few things here.
We have a couple of stuff. We every time I do a podcast, I don't know about Frank I don't know what his process is like, but
What do you mean? I don't have a process. This is the first. This is the first one here.
Well, I've done a lot of podcasts in my day.
Yeah.
And I usually have like key points in order just to stay on track and stuff. I let things flow naturally and organically as they do with conversation, but usually that's what ends up happening.
Well, I have a list of some things to get into, but
Yeah.
before we move on, because we moved off of the health thing before
yes.
we talked about why you're carnivore. I mean, and we don't have to get into the full story.
course.
You said it was...
Long story short,
Yeah.
I have arthritis, and I've had it since I was 2, and I've done everything I could, different lifestyles, but carnivore is the only thing that has helped me keep my inflammation down and not to be in pain and actually be able to live like a normal human being. So I'd say 95% carnivore. But occasionally, I also follow my cycle, which is what I recommend women do oftentimes too. I think that there are certain times where the body is craving more carbs specifically for women. And
when you say carbs, what carbs can you...
yeah, so
I know, but...
Of course. Natural ones, which is, for me personally, I find that any like root, like either beets or yams, sweet potatoes, cassava, those seem to not have an effect on me. Bananas, plantains.
You had the as they call pumpkin here,
Yeah.
but it's more like an acorn squash. How
Yeah.
is that for you here?
Yeah, so squash, stuff like that, they don't really affect me that much. Not at all, actually, really.
That's great.
So the great thing about carnivore is it's an amazing elimination diet. You're able to eat so clean and able to filter out what it is that affects you when you're feeling shitty. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of the things that are normalized in society, such as bloating, farting, all sorts of stuff, those aren't normal things. Those are society normalizing a very abnormal thing. That's a hot take, but we'll get to those things some other time. But yeah.
All right.
All right. Okay, so hit me with it. Tell me,
All right,
what's going on?
You ready to get into now the more... well, before we move on then, what do you think of open house and the food here so far that you've had?
I
as a
love
carnivore?
open house.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I'd eat there every day, easily.
Well, you pretty much
I pretty much do.
Yeah. I mean, you will be. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So now we're going to get into some more topical things. So what do you think of the No Kings protest that's been happening?
Honestly, I don't I'll tell you guys.
Well, first of all, I mean, you are Canadian, so
course.
you're a visitor in the U.S. So,
Yeah.
So as a Canadian, how do you feel about what's been happening with the immigration stuff and that Trump's and the Trump admins implementing, along with the now counter protesting that with the No Kings protest?
I have a lot of opinions. Not necessarily the best ones, I'd say. I mean, I always try to respect everybody's political view because, it's just, what I say is opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. At the end of the day, that's what it is. And to me, at the end of the day, politics in general, to put people into boxes and containers and all sorts of stuff, ends up creating that division with humanity itself, with people itself, which sounds really wishy-washy of me, but what I'm trying to say is that I think that a lot, you gotta look you got to look deeply into media and wonder, when someone is pushing something so much and everybody is following that one thing, why is it that everybody is following that one thing? That's where we have to have curiosity to question. The biggest fault in society when it comes to absolutely everything, including politics, is the fact that we do not have curiosity to actually ask people why it is that they think the way they do, why it is that the things are going on the way they do. And I honestly think this whole no kings thing is just a distraction. Just like there's a lot of things on in the media that, like, even in Hollywood with celebrities and stuff, that they make these super extravagant statements and things, or controversial whatever, and the reason they do that is to distract you from the underlying thing that is actually going on. Now, in regards when it comes to like Canada, America, like the Canadian politics, and we've discussed this on our podcast before. Canadian politics versus American politics are so different. They're so different, and technically speaking, the length that American politics has when it comes to having like super left and like super right and everything in the middle, technically Canada doesn't really have that. Technically, all of Canada's system is democratic. If you look at it as a whole, even from the far right of Canada is technically democratic.
Yep.
In America, that's what it would be considered by the standards and the things and the policies that they kind of go for. So, I mean, I don't know. My hot take is that I'm not really like anti-Trump. I'm not like, and it's not that I don't like him it's not like that I like him per se, but it's just, I don't think the stuff that he's doing is comes from a purely bad place. So I don't know.
You did a lot of talking without ever kind of talking about any of the immigration stuff, or you kind of like, you very politician wise.
100%
you
I
avoided
did.
like actually like taking a side on anything, but yeah, I don't know if I should say, but I'm fine with a lot of things Trump does. I'm critical of a lot of things he does too, especially lately, especially with something else that we'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to this particular thing, when it comes to the immigration stuff, I think he's not doing anything more than what other presidents have done.
Exactly.
And they are riling people up specifically for a specific reason. And when I saw a tweet by Laura Loomer, who's a little bit nutty, far right kind of person, but generally like whatever. Somebody who's saying interesting things sometimes that you're like, that's an interesting take. However, when she started pushing for Palantir, hey, we need Palantir to stop these left-wing people who are protesting, that perked my ears up. Like, wait, why is she promoting Palantir? And then it sort of clicked that it's possible. And then afterwards, I heard other people actually mentioning this. So I'm thinking other people are putting two and two together to figure this out. But what I think, they're trying to get people to get riled up and go out there and do regular protesting, and they may actually have something to really protest. There is some stuff that the Trump admin is doing that, like, it's not like they're, when they pull up stories that they're talking about, like, hey, this injustice happened, probably did. There's tons of injustices, and you could be protesting them too, and that's perfectly fine. I'm happy that people have the right to voice their opinion and protest.
Freedom of America.
Exactly. However, I think it's being pushed on purpose, and then those same people who are trying to get what they want then pay agitators and other groups. Like, basically there are groups out there who want to destroy things, right? There's like Antifa, and there's all these other groups. I'd have to look it up exactly, but they really just want chaos. And if they have money, they'll go out and make chaos. So people fund that stuff, and they get out there and break things. And then, of course, the regular protesters will be like, well, that's not with us. And we're like, obviously not. But they'll also push that towards the right-wing groups and say, hey, look, they're smashing stuff. They're doing all this stuff. And then they'll send in the troops. They'll say, like more police. And you'll gain, and they'll say, hey, we need Palantir to help us surveil people and go after them. It's the only way you're going to get right-wing people to say, yeah, sure, we want more surveillance to go after left-wing people.
Do you think that this makes people feel safer or more scared?
What part?
Like Palantir.
Well, maybe I should explain what Palantir is, basically. Yeah. So, from my understanding, Palantir is like a data company or something. I mean, maybe you could look up quickly as I'm talking what the actual company does. But for what they're actually trying to do is utilize data and AI and give their AI access to all your data. And that's like your social media, your phone data, your like basically everything.
And their face recognition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically they will, through AI, can say, hey, this person has been writing these tweets, has been going to these places, has been where there, has gone to this protest, has gone here. We think they're a threat to whatever it is they decide is the threat right now. Whether it's, I mean, they could right now they're trying to say they're using it to, I mean, ICE is already using it to look for illegal immigrants or people they're searching for. They're already utilizing it for that. So, I mean, they could be using it for, hey, you didn't get the vaccine, and you're telling people that you don't need to get the vaccine. You're a threat.
Yeah.
It could be, hey, we decided Bitcoin isn't okay. It's we don't like Bitcoin. You're a threat. You use Bitcoin. You've been to this Bitcoin meetup. You've been talking about Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know that they wouldn't have access to your Alexa listening in to you and listening to every word you've said. We don't know what kind of data they're going to have access to.
So,
but it's going to be a lot of data.
That's
and it's going to be AI, and it's going to be looking into it. Yeah.
So if Palantir's watching us right now, should we wave or should we pose?
I don't think you understand what AI can do. It's not that they're going to be watching it. They literally can have, like, AI could be having access to your microphone
trust me. I know. They have access to everything. We talk about things on our phone for 1 second, and there's like an advertisement for it.
Yep.
You could literally say something that you would never buy, and it would literally show up. Yeah.
But even through like the Wi-Fi, I've heard AI can see you through the Wi-Fi data, like that it like. Because it's spitting out Wi-Fi, it can tell that there are humans in the room and track them through the Wi-Fi signal.
I'm sure.
That's something
Yeah.
I've seen. So.
Yeah.
So giving it full access to everything and all the data and then to decide who's a threat and for what reason. It's basically predictive profiling. I guess like it's
So do you think that it makes people more scared or more safe having
depends on who you are and what, like if you're afraid of illegal immigrants, maybe you'll think that you're more safe with giving them access to it, or you're like, oh, all these No Kings protesters, they're destroying our city. Well, let's let Palantir go rile them or what do you call it? Like gather them up and put them in jail or whatever. They're trying to make you afraid of a certain group and then sell you the solution. So, yeah, they're trying to make you afraid of something, and then so that way they can make you feel more safe by taking away more of your freedom. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what they did with, like, 9/11.
Yeah.
Like, before 9/11, if you got to an airport and you were like, we got to frisk you down. But you don't even remember a time before that. Like, when I was a kid, you just, like, went through the airport. You just, like, went through. There was no
That's
like
actually
crazy
kind of
lines.
terrifying, though.
But see, they made you afraid of some bomb guy.
It's some sort
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah. Yeah.
And now they make you feel safe. So maybe they will
Well,
make
actually,
it.
technically, I don't feel safe, you know? I used to actually avoid going through, you know, those, like, detector things. Mm-hmm. Like, for the longest time, I used to not go through those because apparently those things create radiation through the body and blast you with, like, a ton of, like, electromagnetic fields that stay in the body.
Being in the airplane also
Of course it does. But you want
blasts
to
you with
avoid...
being up in the atmosphere
You want to
closer to the...
avoid having all of these bodily changes, right?
I heard it wasn't actually that much.
Well, I always get sick every time I fly.
So
I
asked for you can ask for the pat down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they question you for it though. That's the thing. They always say why.
Because fuck you, that's
know?
why. That's
They're always
freedom.
like, why?
Freedom, that's why.
Yeah. And one time I said, oh, because of my arthritis and my things or whatever. You know what they did? They pulled out a book to see if like...
You just say, I don't need a reason. I don't want to walk through your machine and get blasted by your things. You could say, because I'm a libertarian, or I'm a trad wife.
I'm a trad wife.
I'm a raw milk drinking trad wife. Chickens, whatever. Yeah. Which, speaking of, that's another thing. You can get raw milk here delivered.
Oh yeah, that's great, and it tastes amazing.
Yeah, we got both the pasteurized and the raw. Mm-hmm. And we drank it right after, and you can taste the difference.
Yeah.
I'm
still gonna have to buy one of their like desserts and stuff to actually try it.
It's called Milk Up. Another shout out.
Yeah, see, we should be getting all these sponsors.
We have to get more people watching this stuff. But so you can order. They make their own yogurt and they sell raw grass fed milk. Regular grass-fed milk and all kinds of stuff. I mean, they have lots of different things. They got like goat milk and cottage cheese and all kinds of milk products. And they sell a lot of the stuff in the grocery stores around here. But the raw milk and the yogurt you have to get from them, and it delivers the next day, or whenever you can schedule it, and it's pretty cheap too. And the delivery is cheap too.
So let's move on before we do.
Yeah, we got one more topic.
Yes,
here.
we do.
And that is another easy one.
Yeah.
Israel.
Easy one.
Yeah. So Israel and Iran are having a big
They've been having a
Yeah.
big like
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. It's just like it's even with the whole like the Palestine things, all that. Like these are
Yeah.
wars and things that have been going on
For a while.
For a while.
Yeah.
But again,
The thing is, like, I'm so like
it's distractions though to me too.
But also
know what I mean?
I'm like sometimes I'm like, yes, Israel should defend itself, and then other times I'm like, they are kind of starting some shit, and they've got their little tentacles in everywhere.
All
and-
countries
yeah.
start things.
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah.
That's
The
the,
US does
that's
it
the
too, yeah.
problem with war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is why I'm kind of like anti that.
Yeah. I was trusting where Trump was going with a lot of stuff until he was starting to be like, we might have to attack Iran. I'm like, whoa, what happened to the no new wars?
Yeah.
Like, and you know, they're now saying,
But Trump does things on purpose.
yeah, he wants people to,
Yes.
he likes people to know he's not bluffing. And I don't think Trump bluffs. Like, he will really do some crazy stuff. He does bluff, but then he will do it.
But he also says things a lot in order to raise reactions
Yeah.
because that's him. You know
But
what I mean?
the thing that makes me weary right now is, like, Iran. We can't allow Iran to have nuclear weapons, and it reminds me a lot of Bush saying weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and there was no. I mean, we went to war with Iraq, and there was no weapons of mass destruction. We toppled the whole country and killed their president, and which, I mean, I don't. Yeah, okay, it's Iraq. Apparently they were he was treating their people badly, same as Iran, and so either way, I'm just weary.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, like, I've heard the women there like cheering, like, "Yay, we want to not be wearing burqas or whatever they're wearing all the time."
Have you
and,
noticed
be
I
able to-
shared a lot of opinions but without saying much at all? That this is why they say Geminis would be great politicians for a reason. Oh, and Trump is a Gemini.
Yeah.
So is Kennedy though.
But now I'm weary about. I heard this is a theory that's going out there. This is a thing.
Conspiracy theory alert.
Yep.
We're not.
I heard that they're sending a aircraft carrier over there right now. That was the oldest in the fleet. That was supposed to be decommissioned in a year from now. So meaning it's not going to be missed if it's blown up. And so I heard of people saying if they blow that up to try to get us into the war, it ain't Iran doing it. It's Israel. Which apparently there's like an incident that happened in, like, I forget when it was, but there was like a major incident where Israel attacked one of the U.S.'s ships, and then they were like, "Oh, oops, we mistook it for something else. We didn't realize it was we thought it was like a Egyptian ship or something like that." And they're like, "We had the American flags on it." Like what? Like, and people are like suspecting it was something to try to pull America into some another war, but I don't know.
Well, I guess
Touchy
we'll find out.
Touchy subject here, though. Yeah, you know, this is a good way to get put in the bottom of the barrel,
Bottom of the algorithm.
Yeah, just dump it.
Well,
Let's talk about Epstein and
I guess
what else? What are the other words you're not supposed to say? We won't say them. Yeah. which is you haven't heard much about the Epstein list since all this stuff has been happening.
Nice try, Diddy.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. The thing with this podcast is going to be, it is going to be controversial.
Yeah,
Inevitably
for
so.
sure.
It will be. There's going to be lots of things that we're going to talk about and lots of people that we're going to have on that obviously they're going to share as much as they're comfortable with sharing. That's just how any podcast goes. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's...
I want to talk about the uncomfortable stuff. And
It's important.
Yeah.
I think taboo topics, that's one thing that I have been always fighting for and advocating on social media in regards to so many different things is it's just, these are subjects and stuff that people need to talk about. And also having different opinions on different subjects is important in general.
Yep.
Because that's what makes us human. That's what makes us human. It's at the
And
end of the
talking
day.
about the topics is the best way to find the best solution. So
Exactly.
If you can't talk about it, then
Yep. Then go home.
that seems like a good place to end things. So,
Yeah.
We'll continue on. Hopefully we have some guests soon. So
Yeah.
we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Do you think outside the box? Are you the black sheep of your family who's kind of into conspiracy theories and watching weird crap on YouTube? Then this podcast is going to be for you. Why don't you subscribe to Bro Bytes and follow for more.